The Cyber Time Lords from the Timeless Children are not the hybrid that was prophesized in Series 9. Despite what online articles and various Twitter users will tell you, the hybrid was never a plot hole nor a dangling plot thread. We already know what the hybrid was, so let's take a look at that prophecy. A hybrid creature, crossbred from two warrior races, would stand over the ruins of Gallifrey and unravel the web of time, breaking a billion hearts to heal its own. This is what the Time Lord Matrix prophesized the hybrid to be. So, do the Cybermasters from Series 12 fit this description? Well, they are bred from two warrior races. That much is clear. And yes, they do stand in the ruins of Gallifrey, as Sacha Dewhan's master destroyed the citadel and killed off every Gallifreyan. These 2 points are what caused all the ruckus about the Cyberlords being the hybrid. However, they don't fit the second portion of the prophecy at all. Unravel the web of time? Nope. They never time travel or do anything remotely similar. They stand around while the master blathers on, and then they get destroyed by the death particle. Breaking a billion hearts to heal its own? Maybe, but it's a massive stretch. You could interpret this part of the prophecy to mean that the Time Lords had to all be murdered so that they could be converted into these new cyber forms, meaning their organic hearts were broken so they could be healed with Cyberman technology. But to me, that's really grasping at straws. So if the Cyber Lords aren't the hybrid, then what is? Is it me, or rather a Shilder? She's a hybrid of human and Mire, two warrior races. She stands in the ruins of Gallifrey at the end of the universe, and she constantly loses her memory as she ages, her heart breaking every time she can't remember her parents, her lovers, her own children, for billions of years. But we run into the same problem as before. Me never unravels the web of time, whatever it is that means. No, what the hybrid really was revealed to us during Hell-Bent, but it seems to have flown over many people's heads. The hybrid is the Doctor and Clara, two warrior races, Time Lord and human. Stand in the ruins of Gallifrey? They were there at the end of time, right next to me, watching the universe come to a close on the surface of Gallifrey. Unravel the web of time? The Doctor plucked Clara out of her time stream right before her death, and the TARDIS they stole experienced temporal disturbances as they tried to fly away. They messed with the fabric of reality. And finally, break a billion hearts to heal its own. The Doctor, trapped in the confession dial, died over and over again for 4.5 billion years. Every single life lost was due to his broken hearts, because he just lost Clara. He sacrificed billions of lives, meaning billions of hearts, just so he could be reunited with Clara, so the hybrid's heart could be made whole again. These two, the Doctor and Clara, are the hybrid. I don't think it's debatable. Now, all that said, I understand if you don't like this storytelling decision. I know a lot of people were sick of Clara by the time Series 9 rolled around, and were not happy when she turned out to be the focus of the finale that year. That's fine. Whether Clara was likable or even a good companion is completely subjective. But what isn't subjective is that the Doctor and Clara being the hybrid makes sense. I've seen people ask, why aren't the Doctor and Rose the hybrid? What about Amy or Sarah Jane or Ace? Why didn't they cause the Doctor to go too far, to break all his rules, to become the hybrid? Well, Clara is a special case. Here's why. Number 1. Clara is what lifted the Doctor out of his depression. Following the Doctor's separation from Amy and Rory, he became monumentally downtrodden. He stopped adventuring and resigned himself to live on a cloud above Victorian England. He even changed his TARDIS interior into one far less fun and whimsical. The light had gone out of his life, and he was living out his final regeneration in solitude. It wasn't until he met Clara, or at least a version of her, that he decided his life needed purpose again. He dedicated himself to seeking out the origin of the impossible girl. Solving that mystery gave him purpose. Number 2. Clara saved the Doctor's life more times than anyone ever. By jumping into the Doctor's time stream, Clara stopped the Great Intelligence from killing the Doctor at all periods of his life until that point. She became a permanent fact stamped onto his life. She was even there when he first stole a TARDIS and left Gallifrey, and she did all of this without knowing if she'd be able to come back out of his time stream. In her eyes, she could have just forfeit her own life, but she decided it was worth it for the Doctor's sake. Number 3. Clara is the Doctor's longest-running companion. Clara spent some time with the Doctor and grew close to him right before he landed on Trenzalore. She then, due to the TARDIS malfunctioning, popped up several times during his 900-year stint protecting the town of Christmas. That is a 900-year period where Clara was his confidant, his only reminder of his previous life of adventuring through space and time. To him, Clara was like a relic of a bygone age, a reminder of his fondness for the universe. Of course he started to subconsciously associate her with freedom and happiness. Number 4. Clara is the first face that his face saw. In the same way that Rose was special to 10 and Amy was special to 11, Clara is special to 12. It's sort of like imprinting. The very first personal connection this new life of the Doctor makes, that's the one that will be the most important to him going forward. As cold and distant as 12 may seem in his first series, he always keeps Clara safe. He even calls her as the 11th Doctor to make sure she sticks around. He knows that Clara will be important to him as the 12th Doctor. Number 5. There is precedent for the Doctor to act out of line when it comes to Clara. In Series 8, Clara outright betrays the Doctor. She attempts to transport him to a lava planet and destroy all of his TARDIS keys right in front of him, all in a bid to blackmail him into saving the life of Danny Pink. She goes through with it too, destroying each key, essentially dooming her and the Doctor to death on this world of magma. And when she's done, realizing the gravity of the situation, she remarks that she would do it again. And despite all of that, and the fact that the Doctor was really in control the whole time, he still chooses to forgive her. He decides to go through with his new plan to find out where people go when they die and save Danny Pink. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think any other version of the Doctor, if put in this same situation, would have been so merciful. The Doctor has a soft spot for Clara. It's plain to see why she's more important to him than any other companion he's traveled with. It's all there in the writing. And as I said before, it's okay if you're not a fan. If you don't like how important Clara is, that's cool. You don't have to. For those of you that do feel this way, let me make one more point as to why the Doctor became the hybrid with Clara instead of any other companion. He's more vulnerable than ever. One of the most beautiful through lines in Doctor Who, for me, is how the Doctor evolves and changes. With the first Doctor, we saw him shirk his stuffy, snobbish Time Lord ways gradually. He evolved into more of a kindly old grandfather. And as the Doctor regenerated over and over again, he started leaning towards pacifism, kindness, and empathy. We saw the peak of this in McGann's 8th Doctor. Unfortunately, he was hardened again by the Time War, but after spending some time with Rose as the 9th Doctor, he learned to be kind again. He would rather be a coward than a killer, any day. The 10th Doctor dabbled in the realm of human romance, and through the pain he suffered, he matured. The 11th Doctor found himself acting humany-womany, and when we got the 12th Doctor, his final words really summarize the thousands of years of wisdom he's accumulated by this incarnation. Hate is always foolish, and love is always kind. I talk all about the 12th Doctor's growth in this video, click right here if you haven't seen it, But my point is, the 12th Doctor was the one to become the hybrid instead of the 1st, 4th, or 10th Doctors because he was the most emotionally intelligent, the most open and vulnerable. Combine that with the fact that he was closer to Clara than maybe anyone else, of course it made him go too far. So that's the truth behind the hybrid. Moffat himself confirmed it. He said that he intended for it to be the Doctor and Clara all along. He even explained that when the TARDIS was giving Clara a hard time back in Series 7, it was because it knew she would cause the Doctor to become the hybrid. But what do you think? Were you a fan of Clara, or do you wish she had left after Series 8? Let me know down in those comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. I've been Beware. Stay frosty.